At 10:17 this morning, local businesses, schools, and offices took part in the Great California Shakeout earthquake drill. Here with details on what an earthquake scenario might be like in San Diego and where we stand on preparedness is Pat Abbott, Professor Emeritus of Geology at San Diego State University. And good to see you again, Pat.
Good to be here.
Now, earlier this week, a 7.2 magnitude earthquake in the Philippines killed more than 100 people. What is the potential of an earthquake that size like here in San Diego?
Oh, very real. It could happen any given day. And in fact, the Easter earthquake of 3 years ago was a 7.2 magnitude, so that could happen to us.
In Baja.
In Baja, California, near just west of Mexicali. And the difference is, though, the Philippine buildings are built differently than ours. Ours are constructed to codes where they can withstand earthquakes, and people need to stay in them, where in the Philippines we saw them running out for safety. Wrong thing to do here.
All right. The Rose Canyon fault, is that still considered an active fault?
Oh, it is known to be an active fault, not just considered. The northern segment of that moved in the 1933 Long Beach earthquake, a magnitude 6.4 earthquake. The same thing will happen here in San Diego on some given day in an unknown year. But yes, that's a very real threat.
We're looking at a map of several fault lines in the area. Tell us about the most active here in Southern California that's up there, the San Jacinto.
The San Jacinto is the most active in terms of putting out the most earthquakes. The ones we're most concerned with, the one to the east there, the famous San Andreas fault. That segment of the San Andreas has not moved since around the year 1690. The central section moved in 1857. The northern's the San Francisco earthquake of 1906. Our segment is lagging behind. And probabilistically, that's where we expect the next big earthquake in California, magnitude 7.6, 7.8, something very large.
For those who didn't participate in today's statewide earthquake drill, highlight a scenario, let's say, of a 7.0 earthquake here in San Diego. Who would be the most vulnerable? What areas would be the most vulnerable? Down near the beach, downtown? Point it out to us.
There's no one area. Every area have dangers of their own. Even a simple thing like which way your couch is oriented in your house may do it. So what we try to do now, the whole point of this great shakeout is to not stop and think about things, but to instantly dive for cover. That the biggest problem is not the earthquake, it's our own buildings coming down on top of us. So we like to make like a turtle. Give yourself a shell. Get under that heavy dining room table, get under a desk, get under something so when things are falling, you're not hit.
Well, you mentioned that in the Philippines it was appropriate to run outside because their buildings aren't made for earthquakes of this size. But here, particularly, we're pretty prepared as far as buildings. Our buildings will withstand this?
Yes, well, California has done very, very well with earthquake and building codes. After every major earthquake, 1933 and 71, 94 and so forth, wherever the biggest problems occur, in the year following, they enact new laws, they make the changes in the building codes to help us better adapt. I could very dramatically illustrate this by the one from 24 years ago, the Loma Prieta earthquake up in the Bay Area there, killed 63 people, which is not acceptable, but that was almost an exact clone of the earthquake that hit Haiti in 2010 that killed 250,000 people. The difference between 63 and 250,000 dead? How buildings are built.
Okay. Now, Governor Brown has signed a bill to get an early warning detection system in place by 2016. How much do you think a warning system or detection system, how much do you think that would help as far as would it provide minutes, seconds, every little bit counts, or not so much?
It's not a prediction. This is sending a message out after the earthquake occurs. So if you're at the epicenter, zero benefit from it. The farther away you are, the more notice you get. What it boils down to is this: the fastest seismic waves are these ones like slinky toys. They're not really damaging. The ones that follow, like we experienced 3 years ago, the big rolling waves, those are the damaging waves. So the farther away you are, the more notice you get. But we're talking about seconds, or at most a few tens of seconds. It's not a night and day difference, but it does give people and businesses and such some significant time to act if you're already mentally prepared for an action.
As in climbing over and taking cover.
Exactly.
Okay. How effective do you think earthquake drills like today's shakeout is in preparing people for the real thing?
I'm a huge fan of this because I'm thinking with these school children now, this is the 6th year in a row and it will continue. And I figure if they do that once a year through all their school years, they're going to then be mentally programmed that when they feel earthquake shaking, it won't be just this discombobulation like, oh, what do I do now? And running around, like a chicken with your head cut off kind of a thing. You don't have time to think when an earthquake starts. So you want to be programmed to, my safety lies in, and bam, dive underneath that dining room table.
All right, geology professor Pat Abbott, thank you so much. A whole lot more information on our website, kpbs.org. Again, thank you.
Thank you.